Hey everybody, on today's episode of Chanisthenics, I've got a big fat surprise.
Chanisthenics. Unlock the retro you now.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Chanisthenics, where we use proper nutrition and at-home exercises, all in an effort to help you unlock the retro you now. Now, as I promised in the opener, I've been away for several months, and I've got a big fat surprise for you all. Once again, I'm big and I'm fat. Surprise! So, the last several months, I've just been packing on the weight, eating horrific foods, processed foods, in mass quantities, I might add, and just putting on as much weight as possible. And my goal weight was 60 pounds of weight gain. And I didn't quite make it. I stayed between 50 and 55. I couldn't quite breach the 55-pound mark. And you might be asking, well, why in the world would you do something that stupid? And that's actually a great question. And I have two reasons for doing so. So, um, the I did this before and I lost 63 pounds, but I didn't feel like I documented my weight loss and everything I did day in and day out enough to help you guys be able to unlock the retro you now. So I thought, well, if I go back and I do it all again, and then I'll just stay on the nutritional regimen indefinitely, because the stuff I'm doing to lose the weight, the stuff I'm eating, I can stay on it indefinitely without cheating. Like, it doesn't bother me. I found something I love, and I'm gonna stick with it. And anyway, so since I had lost previously 63 pounds, I thought 60 pounds would be a good goal weight for you guys to see me do it all again. And what I plan on doing is documenting everything I do day in and day out. So I'll do a video a week and show my progress. And that's something I didn't do last time. And another advantage is you guys can actually see me lose this weight in real time. You know what I mean? You won't see me before and after pictures and all that stuff. You'll see them, but you'll also see all the in-between stuff. So you can see how you can actually make yourself much healthier, change your health and your aesthetics, how you look, how you feel, all that stuff. And I just think that would be much better for everybody if I did that. So that's the first reason why. The second reason is doing this the first time, I've learned a whole lot since then. I really have. I've learned a whole lot. Now I have a long way to go. I have a whole lot left to learn. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a far cry from where I was when I started. So doing it over again has given me some wisdom and insight on how to do this a second time, and that'll give me a chance to go through these things and share these tips with you guys as well. I can compare what I did last time to what I'm doing now, and I think that'll be a lot better as well, because last time I did a ketogenic diet and using as much real whole food as possible. Sometimes I didn't because I was still learning all these things, still learning the ropes of what real whole food is and stuff about processed foods and all that stuff. So some things I ate obviously wasn't real whole food. Um, but it was as I could possibly get at the time based on my knowledge. So I'm gonna have this second go around, and the first time I lost 63 pounds in 7 months without doing one workout, which is amazing. I also even healed my kidney function as well. So my kidney function, chronic kidney disease, was stage 3, healed it to stage 2. It's documented in my medical stuff. So as we'll talk about later in the video, I've done all my blood work this go around, and in the future I'll do a video update on that. We'll go over the blood work, and anyway, I'm gonna do some things different, but those are the two reasons why I've gained all this weight back and made myself unhealthy. I mean, I look awful, I feel awful, um, I don't sleep well. Um, I keep a runny nose all the time. I'm inflamed all the time. It's just miserable. So I'm ready to stop doing this and get back into eating right again. And that's what I want to help you guys do. So I'm tired of being miserable. So, but again, the reason I put all this on and did all this is twofold: to help you guys see what I do day in and day out, and also start all over again with the wisdom I didn't have the first time I did this. So that's why I'm gaining all this weight, and like I say, it may be the stupidest thing I've ever done, or it may be the most helpful thing I ever done. I hope it's the most helpful. Now, something else that's important to realize as we go through all this over the coming weeks, months, and years to come, um, all of us have different starting points and different motivations for our health and fitness journey. Um, it's almost like planning a trip to the East Coast. Some of us may already live really close to there. Some of us may live in California on the opposite coast. So for some of us, it's a longer journey with much more risk, much more hassle. It may take much more discipline to get there. And others, it may not take as much, but it's still going to be kind of a hassle because you got to travel halfway across the United States. So like for me, I'm about 50 to 55 pounds overweight now. Um, some of you watch this may be 300 pounds overweight. And again, that's fine as long as you start the journey. And also these journeys, whether it's fitness or travel through the United States, it we all have different motivations for doing these things for our fitness journeys. For example, if we have to travel from, say, wherever we're at in the United States to the East Coast, we have different reasons. For some people, it may be vacation, right? Which would be like somebody who just wants to look good for a trip or get in shape for a wedding in relation to their health journey. That's similar. Or some people may actually have a family emergency and they have to get there as fast as they can and stay there long term to take care of a relative. Family emergency. That'd be like somebody on the fitness journey who has, say, serious health problems and they need them remedies as fast as possible. But anyway, we all have different starting points and we all have different motivations, and whatever those are, that's fine. You just want them to be strong enough to carry you on long term. Like aesthetics and looking better, I think that's great, and hey, I want that too. All of us do, right? But that shouldn't necessarily be our prime motivation. For most of us, that's not going to sustain us long term. Um, like for me, my prime motivations are health motivated. As you'll see when we talk about here upcoming in the same video, I've got some kidney issues, which I'll talk about later again. But I'm doing that for this, for history of Alzheimer's in my family. I've got all kinds of just different health motivating reasons that I'd like to do this for. And I like feeling better and everything, because when I did keto last time, I felt like $1,000,000. It was the best I felt. I think I was healthier than I was in high school. Amazing. I'm in my 40s. As of this video, I'll be 45 years old this year in the year 2025. So, I really want to get this stuff down and be as healthy as I can from here on. Long term, I'd like to build some muscle, put some muscle in this frame, and just get in shape and work out a lot. And I'll share all that with you guys too once I get to that point, which again, it'll take a while. But for now, we're just focused on the weight loss and getting healthy. And then we can always build on things from there. So anyway, I just wanted to share that about your health journey and your fitness journey. Just, start where you're at. Doesn't matter where you're at, just start and get moving and get to your goal. And hopefully the things I share will help you along the way. Again, there's no one size fits all in the nutrition and fitness space. A lot of this is tailored to each person through trial and error. And I'm going to share with you what I'm doing. Some of you that'll help. Some of you may have to modify it, and that's fine. Just do what you need to do to fit your situation. And I can't wait to see in the comments what you guys are doing as we go through all these every week. I'm going to post a new video, and I can't wait to see the comments, and hope you guys are trucking along too and doing the same thing, and I hope what I'm doing can help you all. So now I want to share with you my current health journey. And today I weigh 218 and a half pounds. So I've got 53 and a half pounds of weight that I need to lose. Now, that would get me down to what I weighed in high school again. Now, I ultimately don't want to stay there now. I'll talk about my long-term plans in the future, but for now, I'm 53 and a half pounds above what I weighed the last 2 years. So that's bad. I mean, like I said earlier, I feel horrible. I'm not sleeping good. I lack energy. It's bad. I mean, even this is embarrassing, but even bending down to tie my shoes can kind of take my breath away, and that's bad. I've let my fitness tank. That's awful. But anyway, I'm gonna amp all this back up. But But anyway, so that's my current health journey right now. Is it's basically in the toilet waiting for somebody to pull the handle and flush it. That's how good my health is right now. But I did go and I had the next thing I want to talk about is I did go and I had blood work done, and everything actually was shockingly fine, except a few markers that I was expecting. So I did have my kidney function, my GFR. That was the flow rate of my kidneys was at 55, which puts me in stage 3 kidney disease. Now, previously, when I first did a ketogenic diet, right before I started, I had it checked, and that's exactly what it was then. Several years ago, it was 55. Now, after a year of again no working out, but just eating a ketogenic diet for a year exact, almost a year to the day, a little bit longer than a year, but almost a year to the day, I had got it back up to 65. I'm sorry, 66, and that's my goal again. So that and my creatinine was high, and but those again, I was expecting that because I just loaded up on processed foods, which was hurting my kidneys obviously. But I'm hoping to see that back on the mend again as we go through all this. I'll give it another year and check all that stuff again, and should be okay. There was a few other indicators. I can't remember the names of them. I'll pop them up on the screen here because I can't remember them off the top of my head. But those two indicators were kind of high. Those were out of the green range on the My Chart app. If you guys are familiar with that, shows you your health results and everything. So on that, I had a few other markers that were out of the normal range. But I think that's because I'm highly inflamed. My head just stays inflamed. It's miserable. I can't wait to get rid of it. When I did keto before, after like 2 weeks, I never had a runny nose unless I was outside in the cold for too long. But as soon as I come in, it'd go away. Before that, I maintained a runny nose all year round because the stuff I was eating, again, I didn't know this at the time, but it was just so inflammatory that I just kept a runny nose all year round. My face would swell up. I also had the kidney problems, so my eyes look a little funny under here. But anyway, in my blood work, that's the only things that were out of kilter that I had any concern about. Some people may worry about, I did have high cholesterol. My cholesterol was 200 and something. But I'm not too worried about that because I'm going to have a lot more videos on the cholesterol issue later on the channel. And I'll try to go in as much depth as I can on that. I'd much rather interview an expert on this, like a medical doctor or somebody like that. Hopefully in the future we can do that. But in the meantime, high cholesterol isn't a concern for me. It can actually be a good thing, contrary to popular belief. Sometimes it is bad, but a lot of the times it's not. Cholesterol can be a really good thing. There's lots of information out there from, say, Dr. Ken Berry and other people like that in the spaces that I kind of explore online. He's a medical doctor, family practitioner, and there's actually a great book called The Great Cholesterol Myth. And for anybody who wants a whole lot of detail on that, especially if you're in the medical field. I'm in pharmacy, but I'm not a pharmacist. But if you guys are, say, a doctor or whatever watching this, that's a great book to read on the topic of cholesterol. But anyway, that's beyond the scope of this video. I've probably talked about it too much already. So that's why I'm not worried about the cholesterol. And other than that, my markers were actually fairly good. My A1C, my glucose, I was eating massive amounts of sugar. I was making brownie batter mix and just eating it out of the bowl. I mean, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. It took me more discipline to put this weight on to do anything that I've had to do in the last 30 years or more. I mean, it was ridiculously difficult. But again, I'm hoping this will be helpful. And if it is, then it's a win for me. So the next thing I want to talk about on my health journey is the embarrassing part, namely the before photos. So I took these earlier, and this is absolutely embarrassing. I mean, this is embarrassing. Absolutely and totally embarrassing because I've let myself go so much. I mean, not only do I feel awful and everything, but again, you can see that I look awful as well. And again, I'm 53.5 pounds overweight. So aesthetically, I'm ruined. But also feel bad too. So just overlook how horrible this is, and but also I do want to encourage you, even if you don't share them online. I don't necessarily recommend that. I'm only doing this so I can help people. But unless you're doing something like I'm doing, you don't have to share them online or share them with anybody. But I do recommend. I've reviewed DDP Yoga from the professional wrestler Diamond Dallas Page, and he has some awesome advice when he has people start out on a new weight loss journey. Take pictures, document what you're doing. That way you can see the progress, and it keeps you motivated to keep going, especially if you're somebody who has trouble staying on task and staying focused and staying with it. Then you definitely want to take the pictures, even if it's just for you. You don't have to share them with anybody. But anyway, we'd encourage you to do that here at Chanisthenics. And as you can see here, I'm heavy. Look at this big old gut I've got, all this visceral fat. It's ridiculous and nasty. Also got some spots that are popping up on me. I'm breaking out from eating all this processed food. A little bit right there on my chest, and a little bit on my face. As you can see there, I expect all this to go away when I do a ketogenic diet again. I shouldn't have any issues. But I mean, you can just see how insanely overweight I am. I've also taken some still shots of this. And again, I'll stand in the same spot, the same lighting every week and give you some progress as to what's going on. And that way you guys can stay up to date on everything I'm doing. And hopefully it motivates you guys to get going and just start taking off on your own health journey. And that's my motivation. So now on this part of my health journey, I want to share with you, I took measurements, and each week I'll update these. So I'll have my body weight, which again, this week was 218 and a half pounds. So it's 53 and a half pounds overweight. I also measured my neck, around my neck. I'll pop all these numbers up on the screen of what my measurements were. I measured both my arms. I measured around my chest, under my armpits. I measured each thigh around in the center, in the thickest part, also my calves. I measured my waist, or my stomach, around my stomach, at my belly button, all the way around my back. And then I also measured my waist, where like if I'm wearing jeans, they would button at. Also measured that, and you can see all those numbers here on the screen. And as we go forward, as I'm losing weight, I'll update you, and the next video will have my updated numbers in it and my updated photos. I can let you know what progress I've made. And again, hopefully this will be helpful week after week. And even after I lose the weight, I'm hoping these numbers will actually grow as far as, say, my arms, my neck, my chest, all that. But my belly will shrink because I'll be getting rid of all this visceral fat that I'm carrying around. It's miserable. A lot of health concerns with visceral fat, so I definitely want to get rid of that. So we'll be working on that. And then I'll also build muscle. Once I get to the weight loss goal I want, or near it, I'll go ahead and start trying to build muscle. And then I don't care if, say, my arms get bigger or whatever. That's what I'll be going for. And that'll take a long time. That'll take years to do, because I'm doing all this naturally. I don't take any hormone replacement therapy. My testosterone in my lab work was in the normal high range. I'll see if I can get that any higher naturally over a long period of time. Doing the things I'm going to do should help that, even though it's high normal. You want it as high as possible. And again, I'm doing all this naturally. I'm never going to take drugs or supplements, even. I don't even take supplements. Just proper nutrition and eventually at-home exercises. And hopefully I can show you guys how easy and simple this is to do. And I appreciate you guys watching and tuning in. And I guess the next thing I'd like to go over are my future plans. How do I plan on doing these things I'm talking about? How do I plan to lose all the weight this time? And that's what I'd like to go over with you now. So previously I did a ketogenic diet where you have vegetables and you have meat, and you keep your carbohydrates around 20 or 30 a day. And for those of you who aren't familiar, a keto diet, or keto, gets its name from ketone bodies that are used as fuel from burnt fat. So our body normally, when we eat carbohydrates, they're broken down and turned into glucose and stored for energy in our skeletal muscles and in our liver. And when we work out or do any physical activity, we use those up and then we've got to replenish them, right? So when we do that and we eat too many carbs, excessive carbohydrates we call it, those are actually converted to fat and stored in other places that they shouldn't be, and it's even pushed out into the bloodstream, which isn't good. Dietary fat, from my understanding, does not do that. It can cause us some health problems. But anyway, that's why people do what they call a low carb diet, 60 to 100 carbs a day. So they're eating enough carbohydrates to replenish these glycogen stores. Kind of picture it like a refrigerator or a freezer. You're putting stuff in there and you've got limited space. So if you have more than you can put in, you've got to put it other places that it shouldn't go. Same thing with carbohydrates. They're turned to fat and they're put in places it shouldn't go. So if you're doing low carb, you're eating just enough to fill these glycogen stores and not have any excess that's converted to fat. Now, a ketogenic diet is the same thing, except it's super low carbohydrates. It's really amped up. So instead of 60 to 100 a day, you have about 20 to 30 a day or less. Now, what this does is something super interesting. And I've been fascinated with it ever since I heard about it, because I was so ignorant on this stuff, you know. Basically, like if you say you don't eat at night, you go to bed, you wake up, and you don't eat again for say 12 to 16 hours, your body starts going into fat burning mode, and your body will burn fat. And in the absence of carbohydrates, the burning of fat produces ketone bodies in our liver. Well, that can be used for fuel. So if you lower your carbohydrates and raise your fats, your body will actually switch fuel sources and it'll run off those ketone bodies. And from my understanding from the experts I'm reading, this can be a more efficient fuel for people as well than carbohydrates. And it's a really awesome thing. So when you're doing a ketogenic diet, this fat burning state your body goes in after you haven't ate for a while, basically you eat to keep yourself in that fat burning mode, which is pretty awesome. So that way you're constantly running off of ketones from broken down fat stores. Now, this is high energy. Like when I was doing this, I was always energetic. I slept good. I was never tired. I never had ups and down crashes like if I'm eating carbohydrates and processed foods and all this stuff that make you tired. You feel like you don't want to move after you eat. You're just so miserable. None of that happens once you get accustomed to the ketogenic diet. So the longer you do it, the better it will be for you. Some people do it just temporary for weight loss. And I mean, that's okay, but you don't really reap the health benefits from it. So what you want to do is do it long enough. Do anything dietary for at least 3 to 6 months to make sure you get the maximum benefit from it, and then see if you like it, rather than doing it for a few weeks. Because some of these things where your health is trying to get straightened out, you can have some issues. For example, some people, when you start keto, everybody will lose water weight. You start shedding water weight because your body's trying to find an alternate fuel source, so it's just shedding water. But when it does that, it lets go of electrolytes. So between carbohydrate withdrawal and the loss of electrolytes, some people get what they call the keto flu. And I've never had it. I've went on and off of keto for maybe a handful of times over the last 3 years, and I never once got it. But I also knew about it before I started, so I just started increasing my salt intake, ate more foods that had potassium and stuff like that in it. So I never had any issues, thankfully. But I know some people have had it and they were absolutely miserable, so they quit. So, there's some things you just need to be aware of and push through. And then once your body gets adapted to that and used to it, the longer you do it, your body gets more and more efficient at using these ketones as fuel. And it's just amazing how you feel. And again, you lose weight, but you could also change your metabolic baseline, from my understanding. That's something we'll get into in a future video because I'm super fascinated with that stuff. But anyway, for now, just know that a ketogenic diet, you have some vegetables, low carb vegetables, and high quality meats, and add fats to your meal, whether it's through oil or nuts or avocado or something like that. But anyway, that's what I did before, but I'm going to do something a little different this time. So I was eating foods that were high in oxalates. Now I'll have a whole video in the future on oxalates and some of the stuff surrounding oxalates, but that's not good for people who have kidney problems. So what I'm going to do is the lowest oxalate diet that I've heard of, and that's still a ketogenic diet, and that's the carnivore diet. Many of you have probably heard this. I mean, it's been on Joe Rogan's podcast. It's seemingly almost everywhere now. But I did feel better looking back on it. Again, I didn't document this well enough. That's why I'm doing all this again. But I didn't feel as good when I ate a lot of vegetables when I did a ketogenic diet. So there was times I was like, well, I'm just going to eat meat. And ends up I felt better looking back on it. So now I'm going to do a carnivore diet going forward. Nothing but animal-based products. So next week's video, I'll outline that, what I've been eating all week long, what I'm doing, and all that stuff. I'm not going to get into that now. I just want you to know that's my plans going forward. And again, I hope this video has helped you. If it has and you're interested, please don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. That way, as soon as I drop a new video, you'll be notified immediately and can check it out. Don't forget to comment. Let me know where you're at in your health journey and what kind of stuff are you looking for. Have you done ketogenic diet before? What type of nutrition are you on? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we need nutrition that's tailored for us specifically. Now, that's what's best for me, but that may not work for all of you, and I get that, and that's fine. But I think the carnivore diet is helpful to a lot of people. So I'm going to do it, and I think it'll be helpful. The key is real whole food. That's what we need to focus on as much as possible. So anyway, see you guys in the next one.